and welcome to Energy Connect Studios from the heart of the World Utilities Congress 2024 in Abu Dhabi. With us today is Roberto Bocca, head of the World Economic Forum Center for Energy and Minerals. Roberto, thank you so much for taking time to be here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, my first question is on what are the main financial barriers, in your point of view, of course, in scaling up critical minerals supply for clean energy technology?
It's a really challenging environment because the energy transition is very fast, and we are talking about speed and scale. And so investment that want to flow in materials, like in every other part of the energy transition, have the challenge on one side of a new system that is developing, so understanding the new system, and of course the speed. The risk is sometimes to have the material ready, but there is no demand, or vice versa, that the material too slow in coming in because the investment are too slow to come in. So that balance is really the synchronization between supply and demand, and the understanding the new energy system needs are really two of the critical elements when it comes to investment.
And how do you think, again, you mentioned the synergy between supply and demand. So, how are the global events in the world affecting the supply for critical minerals?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there are new geopolitics and new geoeconomics, as we call it, in play. Is not more the same globalized world that it was maybe 10, 20 years ago. Still, there is still a lot of trade, luckily, and so there are still a lot of opportunity, but there are more challenging situations. There are challenges really in as we see in different countries, relationship, but there are also challenges that are brought by issues like climate. So, for example, in the Panama Canal, because of the drought, there's challenge to have the transport going there in the same speed as before. So these are some of those issues that affect the whole value chain of the minerals and other products. That is the new world, is the new real world, and so we have to deal with it.
And how can public-private partnerships solve these challenges and help in addressing them?
Well, certainly public and private play a critical role together. One of the key elements is really the visibility and understanding how the system is evolving. And so the policy being put in place need to be synchronized with the investment to some extent. And so this is a very, very important element. The second very important element, or maybe the third, the most important, is the investment public-private in innovation. Innovation is going to be a critical element for critical minerals and mineral in general when it comes to the energy transition. There are multiple dimensions of this, right? So you can think at substitution, for example, which material will be needed in the future. Maybe is this one or is another one. You can think at recycling. More investment, by the way, are needed also for the recycling, all the supply chain of recycling. In some cases, there will be more efficiency, the demand side. So how can we optimize the use of mineral? So it's really important that more innovation come to fruition and get accelerated. And this is where the public and private can really help each other in accelerated innovation.
You mentioned investment quite a couple of times. So in which areas is investment needed to prevent any shortage in the supply chain?
Yeah, if you think at the three dimension of primary supply, secondary supply, and the demand side. So in primary supply, of course, there will be needed investment because more mineral are needed. So there is very important that there are the permitting in place to to make happen the mining that is necessary. That is the primary supply. Secondary supply is effectively the recycling, and that's also an opportunity to create a value chain and supply chain that enable more recycling to be done. So also there is investment is needed. And lastly is really the demand side. Efficiency in the way the minerals and the materials are utilized also require investment. So these are the three elements: primary supply, secondary supply, and demand efficiency.
Earlier you mentioned innovation. So, now we're going through this digital revolution across the industry. So how do you see data and digitalization supporting and improving in transparency within efficiency in the minerals supply chain?
So I see a fantastic opportunity because more intelligence use will avoid waste. From a study we just did recently, if you think of the energy efficiency more in general, there is more than 30% of the energy we use that is effectively wasted. So we could get the same output as today with 30% less waste. That is 2 trillion in a year. So it's a huge opportunity there for really avoiding waste. So I think this is one of those opportunities that you have. But as I was saying, there is an element of optimizing the primary supply, but also when it comes to recycling and when it comes to efficiency, the artificial intelligence, the intelligent age, as we call it, is really an opportunity to accelerate a lot of this innovation in a way. Of course, there is the other side of the equation, that is how many electron or how much energy will need the artificial intelligence, but also their efficiency and so on will come into play. So I do believe that energy, and data, artificial intelligence are really the future twins. In the past we used to say that data were the new oil. Actually, still data and artificial intelligence will need a lot of energy for delivering its potential. It's a great opportunity.
Roberto, it was a pleasure to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for these wonderful insights.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching. We will be back with more studio interviews over the next couple of days. Stay tuned to our website and don't forget to follow us on social media for the latest insights. Until next time, goodbye.